Alright, here we've got Bihn Nick's Minimalist wallet. The basic one that just has 2 pockets, no clear thing or anything like that. We're going to try and make this today. Before then, I guess let's take a look at how this is actually put together. Because, there's no visible seams on the outside. So they say it's some kind of origami type thing, but just a bunch of folding basically. So to kind of reverse engineer this, you can flip the pockets inside out. And then we got to flip this. That's kind of like a tube now. We got to flip this inside out as well.
Try to be careful because this liner fabric, things like feathers, something like that, feels not like fragile, but like I don't want to stress it too much.
So now we can see kind of how it's actually put together. So basically this outer fabric with pockets made from folds on one side. These are the right sides in here. And then on the other side we just have a piece of liner like this. And then, there's some basting stitches and then just the actual stitches holding it together on the sides. So I did some measurements. This liner is 4 1/8 inch wide and then 5 1/4 inch long. The main fabric is slightly wider, which is interesting. You can see how it's kind of bunched up there. So it's 4 1/2 inches, or sorry, 4 1/4 inches wide. And then the length, by my calculations, is 13 3/4 inches long. So that's to have these pockets be about 2 1/8 inch deep, which is what they measure to on this particular one. I'm sure there's some variants. I'll just show you real quick. So you can see the pocket is just ever so slightly more than 2 inches deep. And I find that that's a pretty good number for fitting credit cards in there. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so I got my fabric cut up. In my case I'm using VX21 X-Pack and VX07. And so now we're going to mark out where the folds happen. So the liners doesn't have any fold on it at all. It's only the main fabric that will. And like I mentioned, the pockets are about 2 1/8 inch deep. So what that means is we're going to have, I like to make little cuts. The seam allowance is 1/4 inch, so we can make little cuts on the edge of these pieces of fabric to mark things out. So you'll make a cut 2 1/8 inches up from the bottom, and then another one 2 1/8 inch up from there, which is 4 1/4 from the bottom of the fabric. I like to do that on both sides. And then you do the same on the other side as well. And then one of the other sides, we want to have this piece of elastic here. So 3/8 of an inch higher up or further from the bottom than the second cut. So that would be what? 4 5/8. That's where we're going to do some cuts to mark where this elastic goes. So make sure you check my math on that. Alright, so once we have those, we can kind of take a look at what this is, how this is going to work. So basically, we're first going to fold on that second cut. Get this in frame. And then we're going to fold the upper part back down like this. So that's going to make one pocket. I'll just clip this into place. Alright, so this is forming our pockets right here. Don't stitch this down yet because the elastic isn't there yet. The elastic will go inside of one of the pockets. And then our liner will go face to face, like the right sides together, like this. And then there will be a 1/4 inch seam allowance on either side. And then that's it. So yeah, what I'll typically do is find the side that the elastic goes on. In my case it is this side, if I can find it. Yeah, there's a little cut there. I'm going to be using this, like, I don't know, this is 3/8 inch or something, 1/4 inch elastic. Tom Bihn uses a 1/2 inch one, I believe. Yeah, so if you have 1/2 inch, that's what they use. I don't have any left, so I'll be using this. Alright, so we're at the sewing machine now. I'm just going to baste on the elastic on both sides. So I've located the little cut for the elastic. I'm just going to stitch it on real quick. Now the other side. So you can see I'm sewing right at the edge there just to make sure that we don't see these seams later on. Alright, so now's the time to actually sew in the folds. So I'm just going to clip them in place, and now we can sew these in. Note that you're sewing through several layers here. Depending on what kind of fabric you're using in your sewing machine, you might need to help it along a little bit. But there we go. So now we have our pockets sewn in, so you can see that. So now we're ready to sew on the liner fabric. Alright, so for this part, make sure that you have your right sides together. So in my case, this has the taffeta backing or whatever that's called. This is the face of the fabric, and then obviously the side with the pockets is the face fabric for the outer. So this one you can't really clip it all in at the same time because they're not the same width. It's going to kind of push and pull a little bit as you sew it. So that's the first step of turning it inside out, or rather in this case, right side out. Now you'll have this, and you need to flip your pockets around. Alright, and I mean, other than having to push out the corners, we are done. Alright, there we go. One X-Pack Next Minimalist wallet. So I'll load this up and let you guys see what it looks like in use. Alright, so here's the finished product all loaded out. You can see there's a little bit extra room here, so the measurements worked out pretty well. Works just fine with 1/4 inch elastic instead of 1/2 inch. You can see the cards are tucked in there nice. Easy to get in and out too. I won't do that because these are my cards, but yeah, so I've got 4 cards in one side and then 3 in the other, and it fits nicely. I think it could fit more. Well, not like tons more, but you could fit more. So that's that. That's how you make a Bihn Minimalist wallet.